Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2023 Ford Escape, we're going to be showing you how to install the Blue Ox Patriot portable braking system. Before we do that though, let's take a minute, we'll check this out and make sure it's going to be right for you. Before we jump right in, I thought it'd be useful to answer probably the main question we get asked in regards to setting up a flat tow, and that's what parts am I going to need? So there's 5 main components. You'll have your base plate, your tow bar, your safety cables, your tow bar wiring, and the supplemental braking system. And with the Escape, I like to recommend what's called the towed vehicle charge line kit as well. And what that'll do is keep the battery in your Ford charged and topped off whenever you're flat towing it down the road. With that out of the way though, let's talk braking system. So when it comes to picking out a supplemental braking system, it's an important decision. What it's going to do is apply the brakes in your Escape whenever you hit the brakes in your motorhome. And that's going to help, bring you to a complete and predictable stop, and you're not going to have to rely on your coach to do all the braking. And not to mention, the vast majority of the U.S. states here, they're going to require a braking system by law. So rather be safe than sorry when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to the more portable type systems like the Patriot, this is definitely hands down my favorite. And I say that for a few different reasons, really. One of them being it's extremely versatile. So it's not going to matter what type of motorhome you have. Okay, so even if you have a large coach like we do with air brakes, this will work with it. If you have a smaller coach with hydraulic brakes, this will be compatible. Air over hydraulic, so on and so forth. So nothing to worry about on the motorhome side. And it'll also be compatible with hybrid vehicles like our Escape here today, as well as the electric assisted power brakes and all that stuff now that you're seeing on these late model vehicles. So regardless of the situation, chances are really good that this is going to be compatible with your setup. As far as how it's going to work with the Escape, it's actually a really good fit. All you're going to have to do when you're ready to set this up is set it in the floorboard, clamp the system to the brake pedal arm, plug it in, move your seat up a little bit, and that's really all there is to it. And during the installation too, I'll show you a little bit, or show you a few things on how we set this one up exactly, but there's really not a whole lot to it. And so for being a portable type system, you don't have a bunch of parts that you have to deal with. It's about as simple as it gets when it comes to these style of systems here. This is going to be a proportional type braking system, which is a good thing. That's usually what I recommend pretty much all the time. And more or less what that means is the vehicle that you're towing, the Escape's braking pressure is going to match that of your motorhome. So let's say, for example, if you're kind of rolling up to a stop sign, barely on the brake, a braking system is going to act in a similar manner. On the other hand, if you have to come to an emergency stop, stand on the brake pedal in the motorhome, braking system is going to pretty much do the same exact thing. So overall, it just makes for a more comfortable and cohesive stop. The system's also going to come with this monitor here that'll go inside of your coach and kind of help you keep an eye on things as far as what's going on in your towed vehicle. It's just going to plug into a 12-volt outlet here, a cigarette lighter type outlet. If you happen to have a brand new coach, these are kind of starting to get phased out. And let's say all you have is USB style power ports. Blue Ox actually carries a cable that you can pick up to allow you to plug into USB and have your monitor light or your monitor screen here working. It'll tell you your braking pressure whenever you're going down the road, hitting the brake. Since we're not moving right now, it's not going to do anything right, but it'll tell you that. You can hit the manual override. So if you were to push this brake button on, you have manual brake. What that'll do is just apply the brakes in your towed vehicle. So for whatever reason, if it starts to sway on you or something like that, that's where something like that could come into play. And then you can change up a bunch of settings, your force, how much pressure you want it to apply, or how hard rather. So for example, in our coach today, really large coach, big brakes, you can probably turn the force down a little bit. You don't need a ton of extra help. But if you have a smaller coach, you might want to turn it up. So, having this here, you can really kind of keep everything in line and fine tune your towing experience. What's nice too, if you ever end up getting another vehicle that you want to flat tow, or let's say in a couple years you trade the Escape in and pick up a new vehicle you want to pull around, Blue Ox actually offers what's called the second vehicle kit. It'll come with a new tether, a new breakaway switch here, and the cable that'll hook up to your operating unit, so you could quickly, put them parts on your vehicle and still be able to use the braking system. And I guess while I'm at it, the breakaway switch, what that is, it's just a safety device. So in the event of an unlikely disconnect, if this were to get pulled out, the braking system would activate, kind of slow everything down and get it back under control. So, ultimately at the end of the day, like I said, this is my favorite portable type braking system. Being the fact that it works with these hybrid type vehicles and just about any motorhome, you really can't go wrong. It's lightweight, compact, easy to carry around, so on and so forth. Now, as far as the installation goes, pretty straightforward. You mount up your breakaway switch, run your wire. There's a grommet from the factory that's super easy to get to that allow you to put the cable, from out here to the inside of your vehicle, set up the unit, and that's really all there is to it. So you should be in pretty good shape. Now, if you're someone who don't have the time or space to mess with something like this, not a huge deal. You can always use our dealer locator network, and hopefully that'll get you going in the right direction as far as finding a shop that can set this up for you. But, this is something you should be able to do. And if you plan on it, feel free to stick around. We'll go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we'll be here at the front of our Escape, and we're doing this the same time that we're doing our base plate. That's why it's all taken apart, and that's what I recommend doing. It's usually a lot easier because you have all this room to work, but this is something that can be done. Your fascia is already installed and things like that. Now, we need to figure out a spot to mount this. Now, everyone's setup might be a little bit different. We have a Blue Ox base plate, and there's a tab here that we can attach our breakaway switch to, but we are going to need to modify it and put a small bend in it first. That way it'll be in the correct position. So just apply a little bit of pressure to this on a block of wood, take a hammer, and create a 90-degree angle there. Let's secure it there. I just got a bolt and a flat washer, put that through. On the back side, I got a flange nut here. Get that tightened up and completely snug down. The breakaway switch is going to have a little connector plug on it, and our cable here, one end, is also going to have that same style of connector. We're going to plug these in. I do like to take just a little bit of dielectric grease, put it on there just to help keep it protected a little better against corrosion and stuff like that. Let's plug this directly in. And what I'll do is I'll take this bundle of wire, I'll run that up into the engine compartment and show you how I got it there. I got our wiring routed, and I also used some electrical tape just to tape up our connector, little extra layer of protection there. And it's just loosely routed now. I'll come back with zip ties and everything and clean it up. When you're routing stuff, do your best to avoid any hot or moving parts, but it's going to come around through here and then go up into the engine compartment. Here's our cable here, and just runs up and goes into the firewall. There's a grommet that you can pass the wire through. A little tricky to see from here, but pretty easy to see from the inside, so we'll move in there. Here's where that grommet is, under the driver's side dashboard. And you can just poke a hole in it, take the end of the wire, push it right on through. Now all that's left to do is get our braking system, get that sorted, and test everything out. As far as getting the main operating unit set up in your vehicle, it's pretty straightforward. Remove your floor mats and stuff. You don't want anything getting bound up down there. But there's a couple of things that I did to get this set up the way we want it. So if you look at this part, this is what's going to clamp the brake pedal arm. And these fingers up here are adjustable. And so I have them in the middle setting there. Just a Phillips head screw if you need to adjust yours. The way this will work is when you lift this up, it'll lock open. This goes around your brake pedal, and you want to make sure that your brake pedal arm will be in the middle here. That way it can't, slide off of the brake pedal one way or the other. And so you'll put that over it and then just push down on this button. That'll release the tension and actually grip the brake pedal there. And then underneath of it, on the bottom, we have these feet, I guess you could call them. And I have those set about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way out, something like that. And then on the very back, this is what is going to push up against the back of our seat. And with this, I put it in the highest position here. So what I'll go ahead and do, since it's kind of tricky to see down here on the floorboard with someone in here, I'll go ahead, get this set up, and show you what it looks like. This is how everything looks once it's all set up. All right, and you can move your seat close to the back of the unit. I usually do something about like that, where it's almost touching. Breakaway switch pin just gets plugged in there. And then you can set this up too. So I just have this plugged into a little test box that I got. But ideally, normally this would be in the front of your motorhome. So I got that plugged into a 12-volt outlet. Our operating unit, I got that plugged into the 12-volt cigarette style outlet as well. And what you want to do, since our vehicle is a hybrid, and I believe the only escapes you can flat tow are hybrids, if I remember correctly. But with the hybrids, you want to make sure to push force and then go all the way down, and you'll see H for hybrid. So pretty important that you do that. So we got that set up in hybrid mode, and now we should be able to turn our system on by pushing power. So we have power now, and you'll see these lights flashing. What you need to do is hit setup. It'll kind of do its thing once or twice, making sure everything's positioned correctly, so on and so forth. If it is, the power will just go to a solid green light, and then on our screen, it'll be all ready, okay? Something we can do to quickly test our system right here. If we hit brake on this controller, it should push the brake pedal down in our vehicle. So if I hit that and push the pedal down, so we know that's working properly. And now it's also a good idea to test our breakaway switch. To actually test our breakaway switch, make sure that's all good. Have our system all set up. And what I'll do is go pull our pin. And when we do that, our system should push the brake pedal down. With those quick checks complete, now what you can do is hook up to your motorhome, get everything sorted there, and get over the road. Probably a good idea to get in a safe spot, hit the brake once or twice, and make sure that this is working. And you can tell that by what's going on your monitor there. But chances are really good, doing these quick tests, you should be in pretty good shape. But with that said, I think that'll about do it for our look at of the Blue Ox Patriot supplemental braking system on our 2023 Ford Escape.